Welcome, Cherries fans, back to Up the Cherries in all departments. And as you can tell from our background today, we have gone a bit retro styly, and we'll find out why. But of course, I have got the main man here as well myself. Welcome back, Matt. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Nice to be here.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And of course, the subject of the day is that yesterday AFC Bournemouth announced a range of kits that were being created by the Terrace. Of course, I've got one of the old ones on, but these kits are in memory of some memorable designs throughout the years. Of course, did have this one, and also, as you can see behind Matt as well, the arrows. What would you call it? Arrows, the exchange and march shirt. I always call it, but um,
Yeah, well, they did have exchange of Mart on them for one season, then Frizzell was
yes,
on the arrowed shirts. But yeah, I think we've said before. The home one was obviously known as the Pizza Hut tablecloth,
yes.
um, which I believe acted as away shirts for many other teams. Like this design, which was our away shirt at the time, was also the away shirt for Hull City. It was made by Match Winner,
Yep.
and they were kind of just templated shirts that many clubs used over a couple of seasons during the early 90s. So, um, yeah, I suppose the exchange and March shirt is a good way of defining it.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, the Pizza Hut shirt as well. It's one that I want to see come back at some point. But I guess in on the blue shirt a couple of years back, we had it on the arms, didn't we?
That's
Um,
correct. Yeah.
yes,
The purpley one,
yes,
um, which the shirt always stays in my memory for being at the St Mary's that night when we smashed them 3-0.
yep.
So that shirt will always have fond memories. But yeah, some interesting creations coming up.
Of course. And the Terrace, who are absolutely fantastic, we'll go into a bit more detail about them, have created two more designs. So, shall we get this started and
Yeah,
see what they've built?
yeah. Should we have a look at the because obviously the two shirts in question, obviously we focused on the away one a lot more. Should we look back at the away offering?
Yes, let's go for it, Matt.
Cool. Okay. Right. Let's have a look. There we go. So the away shirt from 1998 to 2000 um, it had kind of a 70s feel about it because
Mm,
during the 70s we wore green and black for a time as a changeable strip. But this offering was manufactured by Patrick at the time. It was the same design as the home shirt, which obviously you can see Coxey modelling there at the bottom, which was just reverse colours. Obviously, instead of obviously the red and black, it was the green and black, which we first the home version we first wore at Wembley in '98. And then for the following season we introduced the green and black stripes for the away days. So um, that's a little bit of brief history on it. Um,
it was a shirt actually that of course, when the yellow and blue, I was delighted with that. In fact, the third kit this season, I absolutely love it. The yellow coaches shirt, as we remember, but part of me thought, do you know what? I'd love that green and black shirt back, and do you know what? This is going to be a top seller. It really will be.
well, I picked mine up from the club shop this morning, and they were bagging up a lot of orders of this green and black one.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it will be popular. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously the sponsors at the time, Rover Seaward Rover MG, which has been nicely recreated on the on this new one by the Terrace, and kind of had a look back at some games that we kind of wore it in during the couple of years. Obviously games at Wrexham, Bristol City, Walsall, Lincoln, Burnley, Blackpool, Stoke, Brentford, and some footage that we got which we'll show shortly. Games at Notts County, West Ham, and Barnsley as well. With the shirt, obviously we wore the green shorts, which tied in very nicely with the green socks and the black trim. Fletch there modelling that one there.
Bournemouth this afternoon's visitors, the Cobblers finding themselves just 2 places off the foot of the table, with only about a month, just over a month or so to go this season. This is Steen, charged down, but Bournemouth still putting the pressure on. It was Robinson that got the goal that puts the visitors 1-0 ahead. It's not a bad ball in, the keeper came for it, he didn't get there, and the Cobblers have scored. Christian Lee. Frayne now with this corner floated in, headed goalwards, and it's Carlo Corazin, and it's 2-1. Great header from Corazin just inside the 6-yard box. It's a good challenge. Now, can the Cobblers make this game safe? That's a good ball. Here's Kevin Wilson. 2 players on him, but he plays the shot in. Good save from Mark Ovendale.
They're really finding that firepower, certainly, to get their side back into the game. Neil Young. Steen. And Steen's worked it through this time, and Bournemouth have equalised through Trista Warren. And at last the Bournemouth pressure has paid off, and what a well-worked move it was. Well, they get a little bit lucky because Steen's first attempt hits one of defenders, but his second one certainly makes sure that Warren gets through on goal. And this is a very well-placed, cool finish in off the post. Ward's got no chance. It is certainly just reward for Bournemouth's possession. They have shown the greater quality in this game so far.
Bournemouth haven't won at the racecourse ground for 25 years. Steve Fletcher put an end to that unwanted record. It was his 9th time of trying, and at last, the long wait is over.
So one of the games that I can remember being at while wearing the shirt. I think we've seen some of the footage on maybe a cherry picking before, but
yes,
the Worthington Cup, as it was known back then, Carabao Cup now, where we travelled up to West Ham, and it was a great evening because it was nice to see. Obviously, we see it every week now, us playing against big sides and top league sides, but at the time, obviously, we were only lucky to see Premier League sides in friendlies and things like that. So to actually play a competitive cup game against a Premier League side was quite exciting. So might be a good idea to take a look at the footage.
It was business as usual for the Hammers, back on the trail after the glorious win over Arsenal. And although Bournemouth proved worthy opponents, the Premiership class counted for more on the night.
He struck it sweetly enough and got just underneath it, but the real applause is being generated by Joe Cole. A marvellous little back flick to find Trevor Sinclair and seemed nothing on with 2 Bournemouth defenders coming across. Marvellous touch, just the finish missing. Another free kick for West Ham. Bournemouth soaking it up, but for how long? Di Canio. West Ham will have been buoyed by the last few moments. Cox, how many times has he got the crucial touch away from danger? Ferdinand. Ruddock, was he being held? Bowie, Lampard, blocked by Jorgensen this time. This is Keller, and that is brilliant! Mark Keller specialises in the spectacular at times, and his first of the season is no exception. He's had a number of shots throughout the evening. No doubt what was on his mind, pursued by Scott Mean, despite a difficult angle. Off the post and in to make it 1-0 to West Ham, and the pressure pays off. Well, Bournemouth have responded well to that smart Keller opener. Plenty of green shirts forward. Scott Mean, and he hits the post with Hislop, scrambling and struggling. It's all Bournemouth at the moment. How? Met in no uncertain terms by Ruddock. Well, the green shirts were queuing up. Everybody expected a cross. Scott Mean, well, I think he went for goal. It's fired in by Broadhurst, and ball appeals waved away. Joe Cole comes away. Di Canio. Have to wait. Won't go himself. Looks towards one shot. Here's Frank Lampard. 2-0 West Ham. Frank Lampard's 6th goal of the season to please Uncle Harry. All from Joe Cole's clearance and ball down the field to Di Canio. Little knockdown from one shot. Bournemouth were stretched. Lampard applies a super finish.
And there we are. There is some footage from that Worthington Cup third round game against West Ham United. Of course, Harry in charge as well of the Hammers during that game. And of course, a certain Mr. Eddie Howe on the pitch as well.
Yep, certainly was. Obviously, wasn't the result that we wanted, but it was still nice to go up there. But obviously, we'd go up to West Ham again and get a victory at some point in the future, as we all know anyway. But yeah, it was a good evening. Another time as well that we actually wore the strip, quite an interesting one, was the Russell Beerswell testimonial. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any footage of this because this was like I say, back in July 2000. And I was hoping to find some old news footage of it. But obviously, Russell Beardsmore was Fergie fledgling. So I think they tried to get Manchester United to play us in a friendly, but I think Manchester United had pre-arrangements elsewhere. But they managed to release 2 of their players in Ryan Giggs and Nicky Butt, who actually pulled on a Cherries shirt. And that Cherries shirt was this green and black stripe one. I think at the time we were going from Patrick as manufacturer to a manufacturer called Super League.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember them. So I think it was kind of in between kits and that, and obviously the club not having as much money at the time as it did. They used the green shirt and let Saints wear their home shirt. So yeah, it was great to see the likes of Ryan Giggs and Nicky Butt in a Bournemouth shirt, Dean Court. It was just great. For what I can remember, it was a really good evening. Good evening of football. We were actually 2-0 up. Chris Marsden made a mistake. Klaus Jorgensen and Steve Fletcher combined to set up certain Mr. Giggs for a goal in a Cherry shirt. So not only did he make an appearance in a Cherry shirt, but he also grabbed a goal as well. Him and Butt only played the first 45 minutes. That was the agreement, that they would only play 45 minutes, from what I can remember. And then the other Man United player, Nicky Butt, he then got in on the act as he set up Then summer signing Chucky Ereben, who scored the second. But James Beattie and Kevin Gibbons, they've saved the Saints' blushes by getting the first and second goal for them that night. But yeah, that was the last time I think we saw the green and black stripes.
Yep, most definitely. And I tell you what, if anybody has some pictures from that evening, please, please, please do send them in to the email address, which is in the description, and we'll add that to a cherry picking or a future show that we do.
I do have the program somewhere, but you've seen how many programs I've got. Go through that would probably take me a week just to find one. So I haven't looked for the program, but I know I do have it somewhere. But the other thing with the green shirt, during the second season of us wearing it, it became a bit cursed. The players were obviously chasing promotion the season before, but this season we only finished 16th. And they started to think, because of our away results when we were wearing the green shirt, we weren't really getting rub of the green, as they would say.
Yeah.
So Patrick commissioned this all-white third strip, which we wore for some of the remaining games of the 1999-2000 season. Because, like I say, because the players thought, they weren't getting the luck in the green shirt. This one I don't think you could buy in the club shop, from what I can remember. So if anyone's got one of these, they are going to be a pretty valued shirt. But they made a slight mistake, as you see Fletch there, when they went up to Brentford that season, because they would wear just the home shorts with this.
Yeah.
Lovely smart. If you notice, the collar is exactly the same as the home shirt and the away shirt in terms of design, but it's exactly the same color scheme as the home shirt version, which you'll see behind me. So all three shirts tied in really nicely. But yeah, so they forgot whether they brought up the black shorts with them. Lucky they brought the green ones as well, because obviously it clashed with Brentford's shorts at the time, and so they had to wear the green shirt. So it looks a little bit odd, the white short, the white shirt, and the green.
Do you know
the
what? I
green
like
short
that
combo.
though. I think that's unique. That's unique, Matt. I like that. The white, the white shirt and the green shorts. It's different, isn't it? You never see that combination. But yeah, I tell you what, that white shirt as well. Maybe that's one for the Terrace to put a pin in for next year's, because I'm sure that will probably sell out really, really quickly, considering nobody's got one.
I think it's really smart.
It is, yeah.
Nice smart shirt. But yeah, like I say, to my knowledge, I don't think you could get hold of one, but I might be wrong on that.
There we are. There we are. So that is the green and black number. From us. So you know what? I was trying to pick out, certain songs from the era, but I think, I was picking songs from too far, too early. S Express. If anybody
Yeah,
knows
that's all
what S
80s.
Express
That's
is.
all 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I've never seen that movie. It's called Theme from S Express. I'm guessing the movie is called S Express. If anybody's seen it, let me know. Yeah. But moving on.
I thought this was turning into film 2024 with Jonathan Ross then for a second.
Do I look a little bit like Jonathan Ross?
Oh, we won't get started on who you look like.
Paddy. Paddy and Ricky Gervais here. Right, should we have a look at some more though? Because of course it's not just the green and black shirt that we are recreating, and Terrace are recreating. Is it, Matt?
No, there's obviously the home alternative as well. But this looks at both shirts together.
Yes.
So yeah.
There we are,
Mark.
Mark Steen, and of course Rio Ferdinand. They're in the originals.
Yes, in the originals there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just in behind them are the new versions, which I personally think are two masterpieces.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. You know what? I've always liked, the red, white, and black together. It just breaks it up. But there's also the thin, like pinstripe of black between the white and the red, isn't there, as well? Which I
Yes,
think, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was, from what I can remember. I mean, I had the kids' version of it.
Mhm.
It was a popular shirt. But do you want to give us some info on the Terrace, Craig?
Yeah, of course. So the Terrace retail unique product options aimed at football fans without of box gifts and products to capture fans and their favorite years. So they're a specialist in on-demand fulfillment, providing a reputable sales platform with high unique visitor count daily for clubs via licensing partnerships, stadium and e-commerce retail operations agreements in the EFL, and of course,
So that basically, the Terrace actually take over the operations of club shops.
yep,
So I think like Morecambe is one of the clubs. I think Barrow AFC, I think they run their club shop and are premium
hmm
sponsors of them as well. So they really do help out the lower league clubs in the EFL.
Do you know
But
what they
sorry,
do sponsor the front of the Barrow shirts as well? Actually,
yes, that's right. Yeah, they're
yeah.
premium shirt sponsor there, and I'm pretty certain they run the club shop there as well. But if you go onto their website, you can see which club shops they look after. I think Mansfield as well. I think maybe.
mhm.
But sorry, you carry on.
No, that's fair enough. The Terrace focus on key factors such as packaging and minor details, which secures a high returning customer rate. As a brand, we feel we have built a foundation of how a company can run transparently with its customers, making them part of the journey and growth. And I tell you what, they do a very, very good job because I tell you what, this shirt, it's really comfortable. The one that I've got on, of course, this is the last year's red and black number from the Terrace. It's really comfortable and it is very, very authentic, very much. If you had the old shirt and, of course, this shirt, the only thing that you could say is different about them is the actual manufacturing logo, which, of course, for copyright reasons, unfortunately, the Terrace and other companies that do this sort of thing can't really replicate. But I tell you what, beautiful kits as well. So I tell you what, let's move on to the next part, which is comparing, the two. And here they are. Um, of course, the original kit from the 90s, and there we have and to be honest, they are pretty much identical, like I say, apart from the Patrick number logo, sorry, and also, of course, the photography back in the 90s wasn't particularly as good as it is now. So of course what you're seeing is a good quality picture of, the kit, whereas in the 90s, we had to have, our cameras weren't particularly as good, were they, for our younger viewers?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, technology's moved on massively.
Yeah.
But when I look at the shirt and I compare the two shirts, especially with this green one, because I've always been a fan of this green one.
hmm
I remember saving up my pocket money and going buying the green one originally in the old little uh, red and black shack, as it was called at the time. Which in
Yes.
this picture of Dean Court behind us here, this painting here, is just in the bottom right hand corner there.
hmm
The old shack there. So I remember going with my pocket money, and they had one in there with Jorgensen 19 printed on it.
Yeah.
I think they printed it for a customer who then didn't want it. So I brought it. and it was the first shirt I had with a player on the back, which I was well proud of. Obviously, it doesn't fit me now. But when I look at this one from the Terrace, it's a real labour of love, I would say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention to detail in it. It's the perfect replica of it, I think. I don't think they could have done a better job with it if they tried. It's absolutely spot on. I mean, the Seaward logo, obviously on the original one, it was a sort of like a foam. But what I like what the Terrace do is they do it as like the Exchange and Mark one last season.
Yeah.
Rather than it being transferred on, it's actually part of the material, which I think is a really good idea.
Yes.
And I like that. I mean, the good thing about this as well is that this shirt now has no lifespan on it. So the current shirts that are in the club shop now, obviously they have a lifespan at the end of May, and that's it. They're done. Whereas this one now, you can buy it and wear it all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's got no sort of like. I know some people sometimes are a bit funny on shirts that that the old shirts. Some people don't like to wear the old shirts; they only like to wear the new shirts. But the good thing with these retro ones is that that's what they are now. They're in the retro category, and they have no lifespan now. So as you can see, the club shop is still selling the home and the away shirt from last season that Terrace produced, and I think those numbers still sell pretty well. So, I mean, the retro shirt business is massive market, but with some retro shirts, you do get like poor versions of them. But the ones that the Terrace have done for us, like I say, and like you were saying, the one that you're wearing now, and the one that's behind me, they are specific to that shirt. They couldn't have made them any more like the actual original if they tried.
Yeah.
And like you say, the only thing that is missing is the brand, which obviously they can't put on there. But yeah, no, the Terrace has done a really, really good job. Really good job.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Well, I tell you what, let's look at the next slide, which just goes into a little bit more of the retro green. So it was worn between 1998 and 2000 seasons. Remember, shirts back then. Do you know what? This is something I'd always like them to bring back. It were a 2-season thing.
Yeah. I think,
Seasons.
especially, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because especially the prices of the shirts now.
Yeah.
Even if they just kept the home shirt for 2 seasons, and
Yes.
change the away shirts every year, I think Brentford actually are doing that. I think Brentford are keeping the same home shirt for 2 seasons. Could be wrong. You might have to correct me there, but I believe that they are, and I think that's a really good thing for the fans. But yeah, there's nothing to say that they have to do that now. So, and I can understand that clubs do it.
It's revenue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
it's revenue, and for someone like me, that's being a shirt connoisseur,
Yes.
as you well know.
Yeah.
I love to buy shirts every season. So, but yeah, I do get your point there. Sorry, you carry on.
No, that's fair enough, Matt. Well, of course, this was from the 98 to the 2000 seasons. So it is made by the Terrace, as I say again. So full credit to them. They do a fantastic job. Features the classic green and black stripes, V-neck and turn-down collar. It's regular fitting and finishing with the Seaward Rover MG sponsors logos and the club crest of the time, which say it quietly, I do prefer, although of course it's more retro. The new one is more modern. It is an embroidered crest, of course, and as Matt said, the actual sponsor logo is actually sewn into the fabric. It's not the foam transfers, which, to be honest, the foam transfers at the time did used to go a little bit discoloured, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that is true.
So here we are. Here is some close-ups of the original and also the remake as well. Do spot the one picture in there that is the original. There we are. That's a little game for everybody. But yeah, there is one picture in there which is of the original. So from the top row, from the left, 1, 2, 3, bottom row 4 to 6. I'm to tell you what, pop it in the comment section below. We'll see how many people get it, because I tell you what, it is close if you compare them side by side. But here is the home shirt. And like we say, I absolutely love this. You know, the pinstripes either side of the white and the red, in between the white and the red, I should say. So this was the retro shirt of the 96-97 season. Now, of course, this is quite famously worn by somebody who was in the original picture when we opened up this set of slides, and that is a certain Rio Ferdinand. He went on to have quite a good career after playing for AFC Bournemouth on loan, didn't he? So
Yeah, not too bad.
no, it wasn't bad at all, was it? Just a Champions League and a couple of other things as well, called Premier League titles. But of course, this is, is made by the Terraces again. Subtle white pinstripes and a grandad collar. Now, of
Yes.
course, you've got the traditional grandad collars, and you've got the modern grandad collars like you've seen on the home shirt this season. This is a traditional one. And you know what? Wish they'd bring this back. I'd love these.
Well, it's kind of the design of this season's home shirt is round neck with the buttons, but not quite the grandad collar.
Yeah. It's called the same thing, isn't it? But it's not actually the same thing, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Right. And of course, the original logo. And there we are, comparison between the two. So, of course, this again was the foam Frizzell logo, the foam Patrick, and also the foam badge as well. So, of course, this is a knitted embroidered badge like on last season's one. And of course, the Frizzell logo through the middle as well. Pretty much identical. Pretty much identical. It's a pretty good job, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, like I say, again, similar to the green one and previous ones, there's the attention to detail is absolutely spot on. The fabric as well feels similar to what I can remember from the original shirt.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's very, 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 very. There's a word I'm looking for which I can't find, but very
Very, yeah,
authentic to the original. So
yeah,
yeah, obviously the badge is a bit different,
yes,
obviously, but other than that, in terms of it being a replica, it's a beautiful shirt. I'm not gonna lie, it's a beautiful
yeah.
shirt. And there'd be a lot of people that will wear that to games. Because it's just a beautiful shirt, isn't it? I mean, the original was a beautiful shirt, but it's nice to be able to, especially for someone like myself who wore them as a kid,
Mhm.
who now don't fit in them, obviously. It's nice to be able to buy these Terrace ones again, and wear them, wear them again. Yeah, it's just, I mean, especially like, I mean, the market for the retro shirts, like if you look on eBay, and I've bought some myself, and
Yeah,
I've spent up to £350 on one,
yeah.
um, which then the Terrace has kindly reproduced for us. Um, and the yellow coaches one, the original one, not the yellow and blue half. I've managed to grab my hands on an absolute immaculate one of them.
Mhm.
So retro shirts, big business.
Yeah,
So that's why these are going to sell so well and be such a good income for the club shop and for the club. it'd be as we get closer towards the end of the season, and at games, when we're not all wearing jackets and hoodies and stuff, you'd be amazed to see how many of these would be amongst the crowd, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what? Must be a hard shirt to recreate because, of course, the grandad collar as well. The buttons are pretty much authentic. The badge is a little bit bigger, and of course, there is a black outline on the badge. But like I said earlier on, the foam badges they did used to discolor, and it would be easier to put foam on straight on directly on. Whereas, do you know what? In fact, I think it's improved it. I think it's actually improved it a little bit with the badge being a bit bigger, but
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that is that's a good point you've made there. Actually, the badge being bigger I mean, back then, badges tend to be smaller on football shirts. To be fair, didn't they? Back in the
yeah,
90s, and whereas these days badges tend to be a bit bigger. So that's um that's a way that you could say that they've improved the design of the shirt. Definitely.
yeah, definitely. And there is the back of the shirt as well. You can see the embroidered logo. Um, None of the old ones on there, but you know, it's very, very authentic, very, very close to the original. Um, you know, it's as close as I think you could get without, having the foam on there that will discolor. And there we are. There is Rio playing in the shirt as well. And some more close-ups. And there we have the original foam badge as well.
Yes, so that's the original foam badge. Obviously, the shirt, as you mentioned, lasted for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Um, and Frizzell were taken over by Liverpool Victoria
Yes.
at the end of the 96-97 season. So for the 97-98 season, Seaward obviously appeared on the shirts, but the shirt was exactly the same design, which you can see Frank Rolling in the picture there. The shirt was exactly the same design, just literally had Seaward on it instead of Frizzell.
Yep. And here is a range. And
Yeah,
honestly, guys, go and check out the Terrace website because I tell you what they do is absolutely fantastic. You can get mouse mats, you can get coffee mugs, um, coffee mats. You can get all sorts. Beer opener, bottle openers.
bottle
Um,
openers, mouse mats, mugs.
yeah.
I mean, this is just some of the ones that I've picked out that were in the shirt styles
Mm,
of the 2 shirts we were talking about. But if you look at the whole range on their website,
look at that.
you can get all of this in pretty much any kit you can think of.
Mm,
And I think if you also speak to them directly, if they don't do a kit that you want, say a mug done in, that they'll do it for you. So, I mean, I love that Cooper Beers clock. I must admit, I
yeah.
love that. I think that's a fantastic clock. Uh, Bandanas for the dogs, beer mats. That yellow coaches one's actually a beer mat that you'd put on a
Mm,
bar. So I mean, some real good, strong retro product that they've got. They've got a great business model, and any club you support, they've got everything and anything for. So yeah, I've ordered quite a bit from them
yeah.
in the past. And yeah, long may they continue producing great products.
Yep, definitely. And I tell you what, the quality is really, really good as well. So do go check out the Terrace. I'll tell you what, before we
There's me mug,
wrap up, there we are.
Terrace
Ah,
mug,
that's perfect.
and a coaster. I've got a coaster as well.
But before we close this show, I'll tell you what, we've seen this year's shirts. We
Yeah,
both agree that we really like them. We really like last year's ones as well. To be honest, we are shirt connoisseurs. You probably a little bit more than I am. But what do you reckon Oh, look at that. Here
And
we
there it
go.
is.
It's beautiful.
I haven't even had time
Honestly,
to wear it.
that is, honestly, that's
And
a
when you see
sexy.
it, when you actually got it in your hand, it's even better than the pictures don't do it justice. So if you think it looks good in the pictures, it looks 10 times better when you got it in your hand. At the moment, I've only got this one,
Yeah.
which was a nice treat from the wife. Bless her. She actually clocked it on the website yesterday, and she bought me the green one because she knew I'd want that one first for definite. So if I'm a good boy, she might buy me the home one.
There we go. There we are. But I tell you what do we want next? Let's speculate. There's lots of kits throughout the years. I'm guessing the yellow and black halves, the yellow and blue halves, I should say, is probably out the equation because it was the third kit this season. But other shirts, what do we reckon? I'd like the Pizza Hut design because I think it's just different, isn't it? It's just
Mm.
unique. Although a number of clubs did actually wear that as well as their change shirts. So of course there was like a lot of the match winner shirts at the time, but any particular ones that come to mind? I think the A1 coaches one was nice as well.
Yes, that was there's the one I would like next is that season.
Hmm.
But the blue and black striped away one
Yes.
with A1
Yeah.
windscreens on it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I mean Score Draw did make some replicas. Have I got it to hand? You might have it to hand.
There we are. Look, he's going in the cupboard.
Going
This is
into the cupboard of
football shirts.
football shirts. And I had it
What
the
is
other
the latest count, Matt?
what of my football shirts.
Yeah.
I can't tell you on here because if the wife finds out,
Yeah.
you later.
All right. It could be in the hundreds.
Yeah, I could be it. I'm going to be there a while, but obviously we had the Cooper Beers
Yes.
shirt, the one that we beat United in the cup. Score Draw did them, and the promotion 81-82 promotion shirt, the one George Best wore. They produced that one. What was the other one they produced? Oh, the Nolan shirt.
Yeah.
The one with Nolan on, as the sponsor. I think he was chairman at the time. So they've been produced already. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see one from like Ted McDougall's era. I know you can get them on. Is it Toffs? I think it's called
Yep.
Toffs. But I'd like to see the Terrace go 70s. Go
Be
70s.
interesting, wouldn't it, as well? And I think, because the material is so thick, maybe if they could adapt it, it might be asking a little bit too much, but it'd be an interesting one to see if
Yeah,
they can adapt it into sort of fabric that you would wear nowadays, because a lot of the old shirts were like, wow.
yeah. I think a home shirt that would be popular
Mm.
might be this one that's pictured here with Steve
Yep.
Fletcher, and that might be a popular choice. It'd be whatever they do anyway. It's gonna be good if any of the shirts look like the four that they've currently got out. So, but yeah,
Yep. Well, let us know which ones that you want next. Leave it in the comments below. Of course, we will be doing lots more shows. Do go and check out our recent previews as well. We've got Nick Owen, Peter Hooton from the farm, and of course Damon Minchella as well. So do go check those out. Check out all the raw reaction videos. We will have lots more content for you coming soon. But again, Matt, thank you for joining me. And no doubt we shall see you very, very soon. And we've got some exciting stuff coming up, haven't we?
well, hope so.
Yep, definitely. Well, until the next one, up the cherries, and thank you for joining us.